Hi there, this video today is to help traders that are using the cTrader Waddah Attar explosion trading system optimize their settings for their chosen symbol that they want to trade. Now we provide some sample settings or example optimized settings that they can actually start using. But the idea is if you have your own, if you know how to create or optimize your own settings, it makes things a lot easier and you can do continual optimization and backtesting to make sure that you get a higher probability of winning on this trading robot, okay? So what I'm going to do first of all, if you're not familiar with the product, come to our website, clickago.com. You'll find it under our trading software, trading strategies. And if you scroll down the page, it'll actually tell you lots of links on there, giving you information about how to use the system and some selling points. It goes to our knowledge base. So what we're going to put in here is how to actually optimize this trading robot. Now, if you're not familiar with the settings, you just go to the settings, and in here you can find out more information about the settings of this trading system. So I'm going to go straight to cTrader because this is assuming that you've already watched the other video about this trading system, and you've read the knowledge base and the product page, and you're familiar with all of that. And what you want to do now is optimize parameters. So when you load up the CBOT onto cTrader, you won't have these two CBOT instances. I just put them there for demonstration. What you'll do is you'll add a CBOT instance by clicking on this button here. Going to add Euro USD again. Now at the bottom, when you first start, what it's going to do, I'll just close this trade. What it's going to do, it's actually going to open up default parameter settings for this CBOT instance that you've just added. Now these parameter settings don't really mean anything. So if I was to do a back test with this, it would come back with poor results. So this is cTrader Automate if you're not familiar with it. And from this cTrader Automate, you can optimize and backtest your parameter settings for your robot to make sure that it's giving you the results that you want with the risk that you're happy with before you start trading on live data or real data, fresh data. So I'm going to click on the backtest tab. This is the backtest tab. I'm going to select the start date. I'm going to go back just 1 year, a rough estimate of 1 year. That's roughly 1 year in the past. Now I'm going to choose the backtest settings by clicking on this little icon. I have a starting capital of 1,000. Commission, you can get this from the broker. It's pretty straightforward. You go to the broker's website and it'll tell you the commission. I'm going to stick with 1 minute bar from server, open prices. Now this doesn't include the real spread. This is the most basic form of data, but it's good to use to get a rough rule of thumb to see if your trading system is going to produce fairly good results or it's going to be a complete flop and it will just lose all your money. So it's a good idea to use this first because it's a lot faster. And then when you're happy with it, you can switch to tick data. Now, tick data has the spread built in, and that's a more accurate method of using historical data. So I'm just going to click on the live spread at the moment. It's 0.5. I'm going to run this back test. Now, remember, these settings are actually just the default settings when you open a CBOT instance. And straight away, you can see that if you did run this robot, you're going to lose straight away. So your parameter settings are very important depending on what symbol you're trading. Now, the first step that I advise to optimize this trading system is to get the indicator, the core indicator, which is the Waddah Attar explosion indicator, get those settings correct. So that's this one here. So this section here with sensitivity, fast EMA, slow EMA, and so on, you want to find the optimal settings for 1 year of historical data that have provided the best results for this trading robot before you start optimizing the other settings. Now you can, if you want to, optimize the whole lot. And what I mean by optimize is to find the best settings for all of these parameters in one go through the optimization module, which I'll show you in a minute. But I found it was a lot easier just to do it in segments. And then if you do it in segments, you can find the best settings for the indicator to start with. Then you can start doing it on the other ones. Now, the whole idea behind that is you're not going to be sat there for days waiting for the optimization to run to come back with the best settings. You can just take an hour to find the indicator settings, and to find something else, it might take 30 minutes or 20 minutes. So you're slowly building up the best settings for each one and before you finally do a full test. So I've just done a back test on this and it doesn't come back with very good results. So what I'm going to do is click on the optimization tab here. I'm also now have to set everything up again. So I'm going to go back 1 year again, roughly 1 year, 10th of the 11th, the 22nd of the 11th. Now again on the gear icon, if I click on that, I'm going to change the starting capital to 10,000. I'm going to leave it at 1 minute bar, the commission of 30. Click the live spread as 0.4. And I'm now going to go to the CBOT parameters. Now what you've got here is an area where you can actually decide which parameters you want to optimize. Now, I feel that with cTrader, this is a bit of shortcoming really, because this window isn't the best window to adjust. If I click away, it disappears. So if I ever want to match these parameters with the ones on the right, it's very difficult. So you just have to work with it at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncheck everything. I'm going to leave the time frame as 1 hour. It doesn't matter what time frame you use for this trading system. I'm going to uncheck everything to start with. This is what you'll be doing. Uncheck everything there is, but leave the WAE entry signal. So that's the indicator that's built into the trading strategy. Leave that as it is. Leave them all on, apart from the last one, entry signal. Change that to reverse. You can easily, once you've finished optimizing and you're back testing, you can easily change it to standard or none and see the results. Just leave it to reverse. And one thing I would do on channel multiplier, I would turn that to 0.5. It's a lot faster to do it. So that would just go from 3.5 to 4, 4.5 to 5, and things like that. You can have it lower if you want. You can drop it back down to 0.1, and you probably will get better results. But if you want a fast optimization, leave it as it is. And also the channel smoothing, it's got down to -4. I would probably just leave that at 0 instead. Okay, 0 to 6, step 1. So what it means by step 1 is it will go, in this case at the top, 145 to 155. It will first of all try 145. If that doesn't give good results, it'll then try 146, 147, because the step is 1. If you do step 2, it will do 145, 147, 149, and so on. So I'm going to leave it like that. If you're not familiar with optimization, we have got other videos. I'll put a link at the bottom of this one explaining exactly what optimization is and how it works. So that's going to help you understand the whole idea behind it. But in a nutshell, when you're running optimization with cTrader, it has an algorithm that looks at all the different possibilities using different settings, and it picks the best settings that are going to give the best results. Every time you run it, it will be a little bit different. That's how it works in the algorithm. But the whole idea is you let the algorithm or the cTrader optimization module do the work for you to find the best settings for the historical data. Now, again, it doesn't mean you're going to get good settings in the future, but it just increases your probability. If you did no optimization, then you know you've got a much lower probability of these settings actually working well in the future. Okay, I'm going to leave that as it is there. Now I'm going to turn everything else off, but I'm going to select this to no. I don't want the filters on. Turn all of these off. Select that to no. And turn up all these off because I don't want to optimize these. And this is already no. And again, you've got to go through the whole lot, which is a bit of a pain. And turn that off. Turn your active trailing stop off. And all of these. It'd be good if they had an automatic switch where you could do it, but they don't, unfortunately. Make sure they're all off. Okay, so make sure they're all off, otherwise the algorithm will try and optimize settings that you don't really need. So now I'm only going to optimize the parameters for the entry indicator, which is the WAE, Waddah Attar explosion indicator. Now what I'm going to do now is just select this optimization criteria. Now I'm going to leave net profit, max equity drawdown, and winning trades. Now if you to get rid of the winning trades to maximize winning trades, that probably will give you a higher net profit and a lower drawdown, but your trades, you might have more losing trades than winning trades. You understand? So it doesn't matter how many winning trades or losing trades you have, it's your net profit at the end of the day and how much risk you are using. So in this case, I'm going to leave the max winning trades as on, and now I'm going to run it. Well, before I run it, you can choose your optimization method, genetic algorithm or grid exhaustive search. I would just leave it a genetic algorithm. If you need more information about this, we do have some on our knowledge base. Again, you can just go into backtesting on the knowledge base and you should be able to find it. And here's how much CPU you want to use. So if this is a dedicated PC and you've got it just for backtesting, you can just drag this straight up to 100%. It's not doing anything else than backtesting. This will use 100% of the CPU. If, on the other hand, you're using the PC at the same time for work, whatever work you're doing, you can drop the CPU usage down. That'll free up your processor power to be used on other things. So what I'm trying to say is you can run optimization on your PC while at the same time working. If you set it to 100%, pretty much all your PC is going to be used by this optimization module. Now, if I just click play, that's going to start the optimization. Now, I also want to auto-select the best pass. Now, you can just leave this running, and what it will do, it will go through and start by all the different settings that you can use, as you can see there, and it will actually try and find the best settings as it goes through. And this is going to run for 51 minutes now. So after 51 minutes, it's going to find the best settings you have. Now, I've done one previously, but I've actually stopped it before the end of the 51 minutes just because I wanted to, I couldn't wait 51 minutes. So I'm just going to simulate that now. So what I could do now, I'm going to stop it. Now, this is just assuming that the whole 51 minutes has ended, and these are the best settings that you've come up with for the indicator settings. That's only the entry indicator settings. Now, if I want to use that, I click on the apply button. So the one that's highlighted, so it's something you might want to know. If you uncheck it and you check on something else and you lose which one was the best one, you can easily just auto select the best pass again, and it will go back to the best pass. Now, if I click on the apply button, if you look to the right, you'll see the values update. Oh, to the right here actually. So these are the new values that it's put into the CBOT parameters for the indicator, or the WAE indicator. Now, to test that these are working correctly, I can just go straight to the backtesting. Because I've got backtesting set up already with the correct backtest settings, I can now just run a backtest here, and it will use those settings that I've just done for the robot in here. So that's just come back with, say, roughly 6%. Now, I've done one previously, I think, here, but I didn't wait till the end. So this is very similar. It came back with a 9% return. If I go to trade statistics, it's got a 3.87 or 3.24% drawdown. So once you get under 5% drawdown and above 10% or whatever, you probably get a lot better results if you run the optimization the full length. But what this is telling me now is if you did a full optimization, that's going to say that's the best settings that you've got for this indicator. Now, the next thing I want to do, just validate those settings. So what I've got at the moment, if I scroll down here, everything else is switched off. This is just running the robot only on entry signals for the WAE indicator and exit signals. So entry and exit, that's all it is. It's just using the indicator. Once you start using the other indicators and the other trend signals and the other trailing stops, you'll get even better results. So what I'm going to do now is just verify that this is correct. Now to do that, you can go to tick data. I'm probably not going to do the whole lot because it'll just take too long. If you select tick data, this includes the spread. Okay, it's a more accurate way of doing it, but it takes a lot longer. So if I was to press play on this backtest, now this is running a backtest on tick data, and you can see it's a lot slower. But once you've finished doing your tick data, you should see that the end results are not far off from the results that you did in the first place on the other one, on the 1 minute bar. If you do see the tick data results being poor, which might be in this case, what you want to do is go back, find new ticks, find new settings for the indicator and run it again. I just let this run, see what it comes back at, and while that's running, I will show you something else. So while that one's running, because this is multi-threaded on the platform, you can quite easily select another area here, so you can continue doing other stuff as the optimization's running. So while that's running now on tick data, what I'm going to do is to show you something that we've got that was completely optimized by the end of it. So these are settings that we've completely optimized using all the other areas, which I'll show you in a minute. And you can show that the drawdown was less than 5%, okay, which is a net profit of 51% of 1 year historical data. Now, I've also tested this with tick data, and the results are the same. It's around 51%, so it's the same results with tick data as it is with 1 minute bar. Now, the way we got this result, or this result here, is this. Once we finished and we got, if I go back to the first one I saw you, once we got the settings for the WAE, and remember what we got here was only after a few minutes. If you let it run the entire length, it would be a lot better. What you want to do next now is start working on the other settings. So I would just leave everything here as it is, stop loss, take profit. I would just leave them blank. I wouldn't do anything there. I would actually start looking at your ATR entry filter. Now, I would check that to see if it's yes or no, to see if it's better, and I would use the super trend. So you could probably optimize now. If I go to optimization, and if I go here, now I found these values, I can uncheck these, okay, and then go to the next one. Now, one thing you're going to have to note here is that even though you found optimized settings for the indicator, it's not actually showing them in your CBOT parameters on your left. This is a big flaw of the platform, in my opinion. What you need to do now is make sure that these values on the right are shown in the values on the left, so that when you run optimization again, it's actually using the best settings that you just found previously. Because at the moment, if you didn't do this, it will assume that you haven't optimized the indicator set. So now I'm going to change these to the values on the right, 151, 11. Okay, I'm just going to change them across. 21, 45, 4, 4, 98. Remember, this is just a rough estimate of what I'm doing. Entry bars 2, 1, and reverse. Okay, now the indicator settings, the WAE indicator settings, are now using the optimized settings, sorry, for the new optimization that I'm going to do. Now, what I'm going to do now is try and find the best settings for the ATR indicator. And what I'm going to do actually, sorry, and the trend signal, what I'm going to do is do both of them. I'm actually going to click on this one, and I'm also going to click on this one. Okay, and confirmation dots between 1 and 7. Now I'm going to do MA type just as one. I wouldn't try and do them all, it would take a lot longer. I'll just leave it as simple for now. You can also do this afterwards. And I'm going to change that step to top 2. Now if I was to run this as optimization, what it's going to do now, it's already got the optimized settings for the WA indicator. It's now going to go ahead and find the optimized settings for the average true range entry filter indicator, and also the super trend indicator. Now, if I just left this running, you can see it's only 39 minutes. So this would run away and actually find the settings. Now, I'm not going to let it completely finish, but the whole idea is that you slowly start optimizing the settings one by one until you find the best. Now, I'm going to stop this. I'm not just a rough estimate. I'm going to click apply. Now this is assuming that I've done it and it's got the ATR entry filter is no, and it's got the values here for the signal. So once it's got those and you're happy with that, you can then confirm by doing another backtest to make sure your results are improved. You can then go back to optimization. Now I want to optimize the DiNapoli trend signal. Yeah. So I then go back to the values here. Now again, when I uncheck these, I need to make sure I'm using the same values as the right, which is 335, 1.8 instead of 1.7, simple and 7 for the confirmation dots. Okay, now I've got the best values for there. I want to do the average true range, sorry, the DiNapoli values. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave it as yes. So I'm going to leave this as yes, and I can turn it off now afterwards to see if it works. And I'm now going to select all of these. Now the entry time frame I'm going to leave as 1 hour. Once it's done a back test, you can manually change the time frame to see if it improves. But the idea is we want to find the best settings for all these others. Now what I'm going to do is optimize this. So I hope you get to see what I'm trying to say is it's probably easier and better for the algorithm to manage. So the algorithm, I don't think it's up to massive complex parameter optimization. It's probably better for you to find the best settings for each individual indicator as segments in isolation, and then apply those settings. Then once you've got parameter settings for everything, you can then apply that. Now it's come up with some negative sign there. I'm just going to go back and check my settings. So yeah, I'm going to leave that as it is. Okay, I'm going to leave that as it is because it's obviously going to run and just find out what's going on. You might get this, and when it actually starts finding values, it'll start increasing it. Maybe I've made a mistake here. I hope not. I'm going to go back and go up. Oh, it hasn't done the super trend filter as yes. Let me just change that. My mistake. So I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to select this as yes because we've had this as yes. And I'm going to go back up and make sure all my other parameters are correct, which they are. And then I'm going to make sure all these other values are correct, which they are. Okay, I'm going to start again. So now this will run and it will just keep going until it finds the right setting. So it's quite hard to explain all of this, but the whole idea is that you would leave this running now for the DiNapoli. If you get poor results from this indicator, you just turn it off and you don't use it. And then you go to the next one, the ATR trailing stop, which is here. And you do the same again. You actually find the optimized parameters for that ATR trailing stop. If you get poor parameters, you turn that off. You then go down to the break even, standard trailing stop, and you leave the news manager off and the email notifications off and Telegram. Leave those all switched off. So the whole idea is that you go through each one individually to try and find the settings. You can also experiment by trying to optimize the whole lot in one go. There's no harm in doing that. So there is no right or wrong way of doing this. I'm just showing you a method of actually finding the best settings in the most efficient way, the most shortest way to do it, rather than waiting 3 days or 2 days, however long it's going to take. You'll know that in the example I showed you above, to find the best settings for the entry signal, which is the WAE indicator, and then to find the best settings for the super trend signal indicator. So these are going to be the best settings for this symbol. It won't happen on all symbols. Now you leave this running, and once it's run, I'm just going to stop that now. You apply again, and every now and again I would click on the little icon in the top right, and I would save your parameters to your desktop. and I would just save each one as you go, just in case your PC shuts down for any reason or you lose anything. So as you slowly build up better and better parameters and you're back testing and you're using tick data and you're still getting good results, I would at the same time regularly back up your results. So optimization isn't a simple task. It does take time, but as you get familiar with optimization of, say, any particular trading robot and the settings in there, you get very good at it and you start producing some very good results. And it means by doing it yourself, you don't have to ask anybody else or pay anybody to do it. You could do 1 year historical backtest, optimize those results, run it for 1 week, and if you start seeing poor results in any way, you can just run a back test again. If you start seeing the curve drop in at the end, you haven't got an exponential growth of profit, you can re-optimize and just continually do this, optimize, back test, tweak the robot, and hopefully you'll have a much higher probability of making money out of an automated trading system. So I'll just quickly go back to the one that was run on tick data. I have no idea what the results were for that. Let's click on that now. That's not the one. Go back above. Okay, it's pretty much the same. It come back with 8%. So again, this is the one, if I go to this one, it's running a bit slow. So another thing, when you're running optimization, you might notice that your PC becomes sluggish. What I would do at the end of every kind of segment here, the parameters that I'm optimizing, I would actually shut the platform down, reopen the platform, make sure you save your settings and do it again. It does cache data. It can run slow sometimes, but I would definitely every now and again just shut the platform down. Or we've got a tool in our toolbox called the memory manager. You could use that to clear cache or clear memory, and that will help speed up the optimization. So this is the one that we've done, that we've these settings that we've optimized previously using the same method. And like I said, we got 51% with less than 5% drawdown. These are provided with the robot as well. Okay, so it was a little bit difficult for me to explain this. I apologize if you came across not so clear. I do apologize about that. I just hope it helps you. I'm now just going to quickly show you our knowledge base for this. So the actual product here has many links taking you to our knowledge base that explains it in more detail. Now you can click on any of these links here and it will take you to the knowledge base. And again, it will explain everything that is going on. We do have a community help as well. So we also have a Telegram community chat group. So if you need help, you get stuck, or if you want to share your backtest settings, you can join this WAE chat group on Telegram and you can talk to other traders using this trading system. We've got release notes. So if you ever want to know when we've released a product, we normally inform you through different channels, but you can come here and find out. And again, our YouTube channel. So this is our YouTube channel. We're going to post this video here. If you're not familiar with us, please subscribe to our channel. You get updates every time a new video comes out. And more importantly, please give me a thumbs up at the bottom of this video, because that really helps our rankings in Google and that helps us produce more videos for you guys. Okay, thank you very much.